Diddy Combs, looking to suppress evidence in his federal trial. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky is back with the story. Good morning again, Aaron.
And to you, Michael. You'll remember federal agents from Homeland Security investigations were hardly shy when they raided Sean Combs' opulent homes in Los Angeles and Miami, guns drawn. The jailed music mogul now argues those searches and other searches of his iCloud accounts, electronic devices, and New York City hotel room following his arrest were unconstitutional. His lawyers argue evidence obtained through those searches must be suppressed. Diddy's lawyers say the government presented a grossly distorted picture of reality when applying for the search warrants, omitting certain facts and including salacious details from an unnamed producer that were never credible. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges. The defense is also arguing here his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, was a willing participant in drug-fueled sex performances called freak-offs, not coerced, as prosecutors allege. This latest challenge to his case comes 3 months before trial, and as Combs loses one of his attorneys, Anthony Rico says under no circumstances can he continue to represent Combs. He offered no details about that decision, Robin.
Okay. All right, thanks to you, Aaron.
The courtroom is heating up. The jury is furious, and the once untouchable Diddy, he's scrambling. Welcome back to What's Poppin', where today we dive deep into the explosive new developments from day 2 of Diddy's federal trial. From perjury accusations to bombshell witness revelations, this case is spiraling out of control fast. So buckle up, because the prosecution just turned up the heat, and Diddy might be getting burned. Let's start with the elephant in the room, that infamous 2016 hotel video where Diddy is seen violently attacking Cassie. First, he acknowledged it. Then he apologized publicly in a since-deleted Instagram video, admitting he was disgusted with himself and had sought therapy.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life, but sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy and go into rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
But right before the trial, Diddy's lawyers made a complete 180. They filed a motion calling the video fake. Yep, fake. Now, the jury's reaction? Pure outrage. They're not just watching a celebrity meltdown, they're witnessing a man contradict himself under oath.
This hearing, Combs explains that his team wants to call a forensic video analysis named Connor McCourt to show that this video evidence is inaccurate. Sean Combs' defense team argues the videos are unreliable, that they would unfairly confuse and mislead the jury, that they would be more prejudicial to Combs than it would provide any kind of relevant or probative value for the prosecution's case. They write, quote, "If a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video is worth a number well over the court's word limit." Again, the basic argument from Combs and his team is that CNN heavily and deceptively edited the video and turned about 10.5 minutes of footage into a 48-second, quote, out-of-order clip that ended with Combs appearing to drag redacted, again, we believe that to be Cassandra Ventura, to a hotel room. And they argue that this painted the rapper and the music mogul in the worst possible light for the world to see. And as they previously incorrectly mentioned, prosecutors relied on this tape in prior bail hearings to support their argument that Combs shouldn't be released pre-trial.
Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex-girlfriend of 11 years, isn't hiding in the shadows. She's testifying under her real name, no aliases, no cover. Her courage stands in stark contrast to dozens of anonymous witnesses and could very well destroy Diddy's defense. Why? Because she was there for over a decade. If anyone knows what really went down behind the scenes, it's her. And she's ready to spill everything in front of the jury. It gets worse. Diddy's legal team is in total disarray. One of his top attorneys, Anthony Rico, just quit. Why? Because Diddy wanted to use the "I'm being targeted because I'm a successful black man" defense, and Rico, the only black attorney on his team, wasn't having it.
Sean Diddy Combs' legal team is getting a little smaller. As the rap mogul's defense team prepares for his May trial on sex trafficking charges, his attorney, Anthony Rico, respectfully but regrettably requested to be dismissed from his role, according to documents obtained by NBC News. Rico, who is one of 6 attorneys on the case, requested in the February 21st filing to withdraw as representation because, quote, "Under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs, consistent with the ABA standards for criminal justice." The motion continues, quote, "While I'm aware that the local rule requires that an application for withdrawal of counsel is supported and granted only upon a showing by affidavit or otherwise of satisfactory reasons for withdrawal, there are sufficient reasons related to the protections afforded by the attorney-client privilege for brevity in my application for withdrawal as counsel in this case."
So the high-powered law firm of Grubman, Shire, Masalis, and Sachs has dropped Combs as a client. Now, this is the firm of Alan Grubman, who is a very prominent entertainment lawyer that represents some very big names. The Weeknd, Madonna, Chris Brown, Paul Simon, Usher, Bruce Springsteen. In fact, by the way, Alan Grubman was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He actually helped found that back in the 1980s. So, gives you an idea about how big of a powerhouse this firm is. Now let's go back to Sean Combs. So the rumor circulating is that this firm did this because singer and actress Lady Gaga had threatened to leave the firm unless they parted ways with Combs. This is according to reporting by News Nation. And it's a big deal because the rapper and producer had apparently been with Grubman's firm for over 20 years. He was friends with Alan Grubman by all accounts.
With no other option left, Diddy's attorneys are now trying to argue that Diddy was too drunk to know that what he was doing was wrong. Diddy wants to make it look like he had no idea what he was doing. According to court documents, a motion was filed by Diddy's attorneys on Sunday, April 27th, claiming that due to the effects of drugs and alcohol, Diddy's mental capacity was diminished. If this motion is accepted, Diddy would basically get away with everything.
Then there's Grubman, Shire, Masalis, and Sachs, Diddy's legal firm for over 20 years. They dropped him too, allegedly because Lady Gaga threatened to leave the firm if they didn't. Now Diddy's scrambling to rebuild his team just days before trial. Diddy's entire defense hinges on one thing: keeping that video out of court. His lawyers say it was edited, manipulated, sped up, and the original footage is gone. But CNN clapped back, confirming they have the unaltered original. Prosecutors argue that the footage shows Diddy dragging Cassie into a hotel room, and that it reveals a pattern of abuse and control essential to the trafficking and RICO charges.
Combs wants that video or videos excluded from trial, and for that, we turn to his motion in limine to exclude video footage of that March 5th, 2016 incident. Motion in limine is a pretrial motion that aims at preventing evidence from coming into trial or limiting it in some way. And it starts by saying, quote, "There is no longer any dispute that the CNN footage from March 5th, 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel offered by the government at 3 separate bail hearings is wholly inaccurate, having been altered, manipulated, sped up, and edited to be out of sequence. As indicated below, CNN paid Redacted, don't know who this person is, Redacted, for footage, copied that footage in unknown ways, presented that footage out of order, and destroyed the original. Accordingly, all the footage from CNN is inaccurate and inadmissible. As for the 2 items of footage filmed by an iPhone 6, those pieces of footage are inaccurate and inadmissible as well for the reasons set out below."
Bottom line, if that tape gets shown to the jury, Diddy is in serious trouble. We're talking hundreds of hours of footage seized from Diddy's Miami mansion, what investigators are calling the freak-off tapes. The jury is already being prepped for it. They're being asked if they can stomach watching sexually explicit content in court. The feds are using these tapes not just to convict Diddy, but to pressure witnesses into testifying. According to insiders, many witnesses only came forward because they knew they were caught on tape. Let's rewind to those dramatic raids on Diddy's homes in LA and Miami. Guns drawn. Homeland Security agents stormed his properties, seizing devices, hard drives, even documents. Diddy's team now argues the raids were illegal, claiming the search warrants were overly broad and based on lies. They say some info came from an unnamed producer with a questionable history, but the courts aren't buying it. The judge already ruled most of the evidence admissible. Before trial, the feds gave Diddy an out, a plea deal. Admit to some charges and name names and maybe serve less time. Diddy said no. Why? Because the deal came with one condition: expose his co-conspirators. Sources say Diddy refused to turn informant, but that decision could cost him his freedom. Diddy's next move? Claiming diminished capacity. His lawyers filed a motion saying drugs and alcohol clouded his judgment, making him unaware of what he was doing. But prosecutors are fighting that hard. They say it's just another delay tactic, and the judge seems to agree. A psychiatrist was ready to testify for Diddy's defense, but the court is moving to block it. Despite all these tactics, the trial date remains set. Diddy tried to delay it by 2 months. The judge said no. 4 law firms are representing him, and the court isn't entertaining excuses. Jury selection is underway with a pool of 45 candidates. They're filling out 17-page questionnaires, being asked if they can remain impartial despite Diddy's fame, and whether they can sit through graphic, disturbing content.
Jury selection is officially underway in the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Chloe Malas was in federal court today. And Chloe, no jurors selected, but a pretty revealing start to the 8-week trial.
Lester, that's right. It was an illuminating first day of court. Combs entered the courtroom wearing a crew neck sweater and a white button-down shirt. He had some gray in his hair and in his goatee. And at one point, he told the judge that he needed to use the bathroom and that he was feeling a little bit nervous. Now, also, several celebrities were named today, although they haven't been accused of any wrongdoing. They might be mentioned during the course of the trial. Their names are Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers, Kanye West, and his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who has accused him of years of physical and emotional abuse. And she is expected to testify during the trial. Now, Combs has vehemently denied all of the allegations against him. I also want to point out that celebrity attorney Mark Garagos, he was present in the courtroom. His daughter is Tenny Garagos, one of the lead attorneys for Combs throughout this trial. Now, a source telling NBC News that he hasn't joined the team, but he is advising on jury selection.
Let's be clear. Diddy is facing life in prison. Trafficking, racketeering, coercion, and conspiracy. Prosecutors from the Southern District of New York have a 97% conviction rate. The evidence is massive. Witnesses, tapes, raid seizures, and now Cassie, face-to-face with the man she says abused her for over a decade. Diddy's empire is collapsing, his lawyers are jumping ship, and the jury, they're not playing games. This trial is shaping up to be one of the most explosive Hollywood takedowns in recent memory. Is this the end of Diddy? Or will he slip through the cracks like so many others before him? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this storm is just getting started, and we'll be here to cover every shocking twist.
In the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, Sean Combs makes it official. He's rejecting the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged term in prison. When asked if he turned down the offer, Combs answered, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a baggy beige jail uniform. Terms were not disclosed, but prosecutors did say a plea could result in a shorter sentence for Combs than if he's convicted. The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now that will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to sexually exploit both women and men for decades. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution charges that accused him of coercing alleged victims into prolonged drug-fueled sexual activity that he called freak-offs and threatening them into silence.